What is up, everybody? I've missed you like crazy. I've been away for a few days, maybe even over a week now. I can't even begin to tell you how crazy the last week has been. It's currently almost midnight. We're pre-recording this. It kills me to do it, but I just had to get back after it. So much crazy stuff's happening, and we're gonna. By the time you're hearing this, it'll probably be noon on July 31st. But we're gonna give you the rundown on what we see going on in the world, our how we're processing it, and yeah, just catch up. You know, it's been too long. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Hey, Brandon, thank you for having me back in your podcast.
Thanks for saying that. I totally didn't make force you to be here against your will or anything,
Your
or
booker,
bribe you or anything like that.
got with my booker. That was
Yeah,
seamless. I was
you
just,
wanted to be here.
yeah, I want to be here. I
Yeah,
made my guy reach out to your guy, and
right. And
it's
we made it
happening now.
happen.
Yeah, we made
Where
it
else would you
happen.
rather be at 11:30 at night on a Tuesday?
Brandon, don't get me in trouble. Don't
You're
get me.
like, I'm doing you. Yeah, you're doing me a favor.
Yeah, don't get me in trouble. All right.
All right. So today we're going to talk about what happened at the Olympics, the things that nobody's talking about. I've heard a lot of people complain about it, but nobody's having the right take. Well, a few people are having the right take on it, but not the masses, not even by a long shot. We're going to talk about what happened with Israel and Hezbollah, what's coming down the road with that, and we're going to talk about what is happening in Venezuela. Potentially a beautiful thing. Is the deep state behind it? Or globalists? Are the globalists behind it? Why are they behind it? Maybe if they are behind it, is it going to happen? Is Venezuela socialism going to fall? What do you want to hit first? Want to talk about these? I think we got to talk about the Olympics first because that's the oldest thing by now. I've been dying to talk about this.
And it's the lightest subject in the
Yeah,
whole.
yeah. Let's start
you
off
know.
nice, innocent, satanic rituals.
And child abuse.
Yeah, so I heard a really good take on this the other day from I'm almost tempted to not even say the person that had this take on it, but because I mean maybe it potentially like discredits the take because of the way that people think of this person. But this person, even though they've had a few big L's, they've had far more wins. Probably 90% of the things they say are a W. And it's the only person that I've heard have like the logical correct take on this matter. So, you know, we could play all the videos for you. We could show you the pictures, but you see him by now. The guy's got his balls hanging out. They've got the golden calf. They've got the death riding on a pale horse. All very demonic signs. Trannies dancing with children, the whole 9 yards. Like every demonic, satanic ritual type of thing you could imagine, they had it at the Olympics.
All put together in a beautiful package to be consumed on live television for 8. I think they said it was 1 billion people saw it.
Yep. So there's cramming the tranny stuff down your throat.
I think it's done. I think this was a closing act of the whole woke thing.
Was it though?
I don't think we're gonna see like something so woke at such a big scale in the future.
All right, so here's my current take on it. I can't say that this was an original thought. I mean, I probably would have arrived here after a bit, but this person that I'm hesitant to mention, but I will mention because don't care at the end of the day.
Wait. How about if you give the initials?
AJ.
Yeah,
so Alex Jones, he caught some heat on Twitter because he tweeted out Satan rules the world. So a logical person or a blue pill person who is or an innocent person, I guess you'd say, somebody who just kind of goes about their own business, doesn't look too deeply into things. They might see this and like, oh my God, what a horrible thing. Why would somebody do this in the Olympics? Why are they doing these clearly evil, scary, demonic things in the Olympics? And the answer to that is because, contrary to popular belief or assumption, the devil is the ruler of the earth. God is the ruler of the universe, but the devil is the ruler of the earth, unfortunately. And I mean, you could make that whatever you want. You could hate it. You could say it's not true, but I mean, the Bible says it. And like a lot of things, it's unfortunately the fault of a woman.
for eating the apple.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's not wrong. Like after seeing that, I was shocked. I was like, I thought it was a joke. I literally thought this is AI. This is a joke because who's watching it? Like I started getting clips,
Yeah.
and I won't mention who it was,
Mhm.
but the guy that sits next to me in front of me, he came out of his office holding his head. He was like, Humberto, what's going on?
No, but
What
him of all people should know.
No, he knows what's going on, but it's still shocking.
Like so figuratively, what's going on?
I saw the videos. I was like, this must be AI. Like I never seen anything like it all at the same time. Like doing something so public as Olympics, like it's
So here though, I have the perfect Bible verse that the perfect Bible verse that kind of puts this into perspective. So Luke 4:5-6, quote, and the devil taking him up into a high mountain, shrewd unto him all the kingdoms of the world, a moment of time. And the devil said upon him, all this power I will give thee, and the glory of them, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomever I will give it. So I don't know about you, but the way that I interpret that is that it's saying that the devil has the domain to grant people, the whatever nicer things in life, and that's why they say the word or the term "selling your soul" is a term, because there's a weird occultic power to doing these humiliating, evil public things that are symbolic, and gaining some sort of dark power from that.
I think this is just a raw display of evil. That's what it is.
But it's not just by choice. It's
yeah, but I don't blame the people involved, because I think there's like a evil master plan. I don't think most people that were there, even the cross dressers and
no, they're useful idiots.
They're useful idiots. I don't think they understand the
No.
And like how intricate, like how they hit every single point of hell.
Well, dude, so here's the thing. It's like even Macron, who tweeted out, "This is France," he's a useful idiot too. I mean, he might be a little bit more in on it than the people who are doing it, but the people who are doing it, they're all just like kind of mindless orbs, like NPCs. But the powerful forces obviously put that shit together.
I don't know. I think when we're in the car and we're talking about Macron and how he's the flavor of the week, like they just find guys that wear a suit real good, and now it's him, and then they will find another guy that looks good in a suit and put him there.
And they tell him like, "Hey, if you ever disobey what we're telling you to do, we'll make it public that you're married to a dude who's 20 years older than you."
You believe that? Like the people write about it.
I mean,
I mean, she is ugly.
If it walks
Real
like a
ugly.
dude, talks like a dude, looks like a dude, trying to make an analogous term to that duck saying, but yeah, it looks like a dude.
Flies like a duck, walks like a duck.
I thought it was walks and talks.
Walks and talks
But
like
it's
a
probably
duck.
a duck.
It is probably a duck.
Yeah, like it looks like a dude.
I haven't heard they, them, him, her, his speak, so I don't know the mannerisms.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen ugly European ladies that look like that. I don't know. So I wouldn't really.
Weathered from the like the trials and tribulations of life over there.
Yeah, Europe is terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, yeah, I haven't gone down that rabbit hole. I know Candace Owens has gone deeply down, and she seems very confident that that's the case. But regardless, I mean, I don't know. It's he's obviously a weird dude by default to be married to somebody who's that much older than him, and potentially a dude, allegedly a dude, whatever. But point being, I think he's like almost a useful idiot too. I mean, like I said, people who are doing the thing are definitely useful idiots. He's somewhat of a useful idiot who gets like a little bit more power out of it. But yeah, he's definitely subservient to somebody. And then the people who are making these things happen, like the powerful forces behind this, that have the ability to make the Olympics do this, like crazy, extravagant, detailed, demonic ritual that's like very clearly intended to promote evil signs that are stated to be evil in the Bible, like stated to be signs of evil within the Bible. That's not an accident. So I think that the powerful forces that are making this happen are trying to serve the devil or serving the devil.
And now, Brandon, can you explain to me in what world Andrew Tate responds to it before the Pope?
In a world where the Pope isn't as pure as he would like you to think.
Is the Pope a Catholic?
Yeah,
It's a saying.
it went over my head.
It went over your head,
Yep.
but anyhow,
Well, you're just gonna leave me hanging.
no, it's just a thing you say that when things are obvious, you go like it's a Pope a Catholic.
Okay.
Okay. Anyhow, so Andrew Tate came out calling out Christians.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like if you guys don't defend this, it's over. It's over and done. And this was very interesting. I think came out this morning or yesterday's morning. Iran. Did you read about it?
Iran, no, what?
The solid religious government of Iran, the Islamic, fundamentalist government of Iran, they called it out this morning.
What, the demonic tranny stuff?
Yes, they said they will not stand for them offending Jesus like that.
Wow, why is it that we have like more in common with Russia and Iran when it comes to religion than we have with Europe and America?
I mean, Brandon, be honest.
I said what?
Okay, where will you organize the Olympics for this not to happen again?
Where would you do it?
Where will you do it? Come on, give me
Russia,
a few countries. Okay,
China, Iran.
Yes.
Maybe Venezuela.
Maybe Venezuela. Where else? Saudi Arabia.
Oh yeah, any Middle East country.
Singapore, South Korea, maybe.
Yeah.
Could you organize an event of this big anywhere in the Western world without getting ruined?
In the Western world, you mean
Like in any Western country? Could you
any Europe, non-Europe or non-America country? You're saying, or Europe or North America?
Like, I mean, America, it will be ruined. It will be. It will, like, you will have all this woke stuff. If you do it in Australia, you will have all this woke
Right,
stuff.
New Zealand, yep.
New Zealand, Switzerland, Germany, France, even Mexico, where you will have all the woke stuff.
Yeah, Mexico's getting there.
Oh, Mexico's all the way there. They parked their car, they got down, rolled down the window, they're sitting there. They're building camp on the woke camp.
Right. So I mean, but the point I guess I want to make with all this is that it's, yeah, sure, it's the depopulation thing. They, push the stuff for that, but I'm not somebody who's a Christian. I consider myself, just a believer in God. Raised Catholic, but with all the dirty stuff that happens with the Catholics and all the religious divisions and religious wars and manipulation that goes to that, I felt it was more simpler to have a direct relationship with God. But with this outright attack against Christians, I'm very interested in that. It's almost like whatever people say to try to convince me to be a Christian is like way down here, but the evil attacking Christianity, is like up here in strength in terms of things that would persuade me to.
Watch out with that arm. Watch out with that arm. Watch out, Brandon.
You know what I'm saying though? Like,
I know what you say. Okay,
I'll keep them down here to be safe.
Can I make a point there?
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right. I've been thinking deeply about this, and first of all, it's Catholics and Protestants. Those are the two camps.
Yeah.
This calling non-Catholics Christians. There are Christians. Catholics are also Christians. They're Protestants. Okay.
The key difference is believing in the Pope as the middleman for Jesus or the middleman for God.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. And this is my theory, and you've seen it everywhere. Okay.
Okay.
Every organization that holds power and matters,
they
will infiltrate. They will infiltrate them every single time. And I'm sorry, but this Protestant people, they don't have an organization big enough that is well worth infiltrating. So
why is it so heavily under attack?
Why? What? No. The Catholic Church is under attack. They don't care about all these other small wacky churches.
So, but is there more Christians or more Protestants or more Catholics in the world?
Definitely more Catholics. Way more Catholics.
Yeah.
Yeah, way more. It's not even close, Brandon.
Really?
Not even close, Brandon.
You sure about that?
We can look it up.
Let's look it up.
Look it up.
But I hear over and over again, like, why do they use the term Christianity just because of Christ?
Because Catholics are Christians, Protestants are Christians. What we're gonna say there are more Protestant than Catholics, to 48%.
48% Protestant, 23% Catholic.
That's in the United States.
Yep.
That's not the world population.
Let's see the world.
Because let me see. Catholics are a larger percent of Christians.
50 to 36.
50 to, it's not even close.
So why was it specifically more popular in the U.S.? I know we're a Christian nation, but what's the origin of that? I mean, we're kind of going into a rabbit hole here, but it's whatever. It's what we do.
It's what we do. Basically, the people that came here, they were facing religious persecution.
Mm-hmm.
The Quakers.
Okay.
You heard about them?
I've heard the term, yeah.
Okay, the Quakers came here because their flavor of Christian was too weird. And Catholics, they were like, you guys are satanic. Cut it out. If not, we're going to have to cut off your heads.
Good old days, right?
Yeah, the good old days. They used to. And they just, pack their stuff.
And just quaked on over here.
And yeah, just go on a boat, got here so they can do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the percentage of Protestants, and that's why they call them Christians, because the name Protestant sounds ugly.
I know. Christian's much better branding.
It's much better branding. They've rebranded.
It's even better branding than Catholic.
But Catholics are Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And Christians, non-denomination, that's what they call Christian.
Yeah.
Or smaller denominations. They're Protestants.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a psyop that is going on here.
Yeah, it's very interesting that they classify them as two different things, even on the side, like from the standpoint of Christians and Catholics. Like I would understand why an outside group would want to classify them as two different things, but why do they embrace that?
Look, okay, let me put it this way. You have animals.
Yeah.
You have mammals.
Right.
And reptiles.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Christians and Catholics are animals.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference between reptiles and mammals is Protestant and Catholic.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that like it's the difference between the two is like a dog and a wolf, whereas a reptile mammal's like a Catholic to a Muslim.
Oh no, I'm not putting any attributes, but the classification for all of them is Christian. And then the sub classification is Protestants and Catholics, and then you have all the other subgroups, Mormons and this and that, and smaller churches. But Catholic is the main. Christian is the main thing that holds everyone together under Christ.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they call them Christians, because they believe in Christ.
Right.
So that's one thing. And the thing is, everything that is worth its salt or worth a damn got infiltrated. Like every single large corporation, got infiltrated. Every single big government organization got infiltrated. So why do you think the Catholic Church, as being the biggest organization, wouldn't be infiltrated? It makes no sense.
I would think that it would be, yeah.
Because this Protestant churches, they're way smaller, they're way more local, they usually don't have outside contact between them. It's a very new thing that they talk to each other.
Yeah.
But it would be that in a small town America, you have a family, and the guy will be the pastor, and the family will join the church. So infiltrating that church of 10 people, first of all, is impossible.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, they hold no power.
Right.
The Catholic Church is global.
Yeah.
And it holds a lot of power, and it holds a lot of money, and it holds a lot of influence. So that's why they double down there to infiltrate. If you see, I don't know, the Coca-Cola company.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like what they do it's not bad. It's probably not good for you, but they're not openly trying to kill anyone, and it got infiltrated.
Well, the Vatican helped the CIA and the mafia flood the black communities of America with heroin for the last 50 to 70 years, and cocaine. So
allegedly.
How holy are... No, not allegedly.
Allegedly.
What's Operation Gladio? That's pretty declassified, no?
It is pretty declassified, but they were fighting communism, so I allow it. I allow it.
But were they fighting communism? I know the long-standing narrative of the CIA is that they were fighting communism, but they didn't do a very good job. Not only did they not necessarily stop socialism around the world, but they let it creep into America in a pretty strong way.
But not here nor there if it didn't happen. But when you have the CIA trying to work with your organization, it's something powerful. So
Well, it's powerful because they're like the only bank in the world that doesn't have to show what goes through it.
all right. So it's a powerful organization. That's why they get so much slack. It's the
Mhm.
biggest organization. That's why, like, out of everyone, like, let's say football players,
Mhm.
there's definitely gonna be a pedo or two there. There's gonna be a murder or two there. So the bigger the organization, it's just a numbers game. The bigger the organization, the more global it is, it's more likely for someone to walk in there and paint the church in a bad light. Now, at the same time, if we have a chance in hell to, like, turn this around, or a chance in this world to turn this around, it would be through the Catholic Church. Because the
Think
thing is,
so?
the Catholic Church, back before it was infiltrated, they used to run things. They were the guys that fought, because this is not the first invasion of Muslims in Europe.
Mhm.
They invaded half of Spain, literally
Yeah.
invaded half of Spain
Okay.
and half of Europe. And then the guys that pushed them out was the Catholic Church. Israel, they took over Israel. It was the most peaceful time of the whole history of Israel, the 2,000 years, when it was the kingdom of Jerusalem. That was the Christian control of Israel.
Yeah.
And anyone that is not aiming for that, I don't know what you're doing. You want to give land to someone else. Like, that's why I look at the pro-Palestine guys and the pro-Israel guys, and you're like, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Let's take it over again. Let's bring the band back together.
Uh-huh.
Because it's still the place that Jesus was born and where he roamed. So it doesn't make sense to me to give control to another religion of my holy land. I don't know. That's me.
It's very interesting that they chose that particular area of land.
No, it's not interesting. It's obvious that
Right.
piece of land has been under siege and under war since its inception. Like, even in the Bible, you can read stories about them fighting about that piece of land.
Mhm.
So, they've been, like, before the Bible was written, they've been fighting over that piece of land for 1,000 years before that.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, you had the Egyptians, you had the Romans, you had a bunch of tribes, because it's a very fertile land. Like, civilization started right around the corner in Mesopotamia. So, like, that piece of land is no joke for humans as a civilization.
It's like a land bridge between what, Africa and the Middle East.
And Africa and the Middle East is crazy.
Yeah.
You have rivers, you have a bunch of, like, natural resources and everything. So that piece of land is going to be constantly at war.
Interesting. So I mean, I struggle to think that the Catholic. Well, I mean, I guess if the Catholics and Christians are synonymous, then I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Not even because of anything that you're saying, but because of, like, how directly under attack Christians, Catholics, Protestants, whatever you want to call them, have been, like, from these people that are like doing these satanic worships on TV, or like the people that are making people do that on TV.
The higher you go, the harder you fall. If you hold any power, if you hold any influence, you're gonna come after you. Like, Alex Jones, Andrew Tate. I mean, you can name the examples. If you start having too much influence on a positive way,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna come for you. That's what it is.
Yeah. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, like, do you think the people like Henry Kissinger, or what's his name, Dick Cheney, Klaus Schwab, the Bushes, or even people that are levels above that we don't necessarily know about, do you think they do, like, satanic worships, or that they are responsible for doing sacrificial type of things, and, like, to generate this, like, evil dark energy, or to, like, make sacrifices to the ruler of the earth?
It wouldn't be beyond me, and it wouldn't be past me. I don't think any of the rituals have an actual spiritual meaning.
Really?
I don't think there's a guide.
Why would they put that much effort into doing something that's
Because they think they're doing it.
doing what? Generating dark energy?
Yeah, I think it's a power trip.
But why'd they, so, like, going back 2,000 years, why'd they do these, like, child sacrifices where they throw a child into a volcano or something, thinking they were, like, feeding some god?
that's the reason Jesus Christ came to earth, Brandon. That's the main reason Jesus came to earth, to put an end to all sacrifices, all human sacrifices. uh the Mayans used to do it, the Jews used to do it, all the civilizations before Christ was born, like human sacrifice was a big part of it.
Yeah.
And if you read the Bible in general terms, you see that God, like, he gave us his son for the ultimate and final sacrifice. He sacrificed his own son, put him on earth to be sacrificed, to teach everyone a lesson that we don't need to sacrifice anyone else. Because after you sacrifice the son of God, God sends his son here and he gets sacrificed, is to make a point.
Yeah.
Just to cut that shit. Stop it. Like,
Mhm.
no more sacrifices, because I sacrificed my own son by your hands to put an end to this.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's where we should stick.
And it's really the only religion that explicitly says treat everyone equal, right?
It is the only one that explicitly thinks and treats everyone equal, and that's been biting us in the bum. Because even though tolerance is not a Christian virtue,
Mm-hmm.
we tend to tolerate and have everyone as equals. Like, the Christian faith is one of the biggest drivers of ending the horrible times of slavery.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because
100%.
it goes against Christian values. You can't
Right.
have slaves in Christianity. You can't have slaves in the Islamic religion. You can have slaves in all the other religions,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't have slaves on the Christian religion.
Yeah, and that even goes to the stuff with like arranged marriages or women abuse and stuff like that. Like it's probably the only religion or one of few religions that doesn't allow that.
So, not even in a mystical, religious, otherworldly sense, what Jesus came here to do is to, like, set ground rules so you can have a normal life. Like, nothing in the Bible, any of the rules, none of them are out there.
Mhm.
None of them are like, oh, this is so weird. I shouldn't eat, turn on light switches on Saturday, or I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Most of the weird rules come from, like, cultural tradition, but most of them are pretty straightforward. Like, if you follow them by the line, at the end of when you hit 80 or 90, like, if you follow most of the rules on the Bible, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna have a family that loves you. You're gonna be a good guy at work. You're gonna be well regarded in your community.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't even believe in God and you just follow the teachings, you're gonna land somewhere good.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna work hard, you're gonna build a family. So, like, at the end of the day, even if you don't believe in Christ, you're gonna be like, I had a pretty good life if you follow that path.
Right.
And if you don't, you're doomed.
Yeah, because you're kind of like you get dragged into different directions, I guess, if you don't think that you're like if you don't fear anything, if you don't fear violating things.
Yeah, I mean, imagine yourself at 90 by yourself in a crappy apartment. Nobody cares if you die. They probably find your body like 3 or 4 days later. What a terrible way to die. What a
Mhm.
terrible way to live. Because, like, how you live is how you die. You
Right.
live by the gun, you die by the gun. Biggie Smalls.
And they say the time that you actually die is the last time somebody says your name.
Well, that's actually an African tradition
What's that?
from the Zulu tribes. They're like between Botswana and South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
They say you die 3 times. You die the first time physically, you die the second time when your last relative dies, and then you die the last time someone mentions your name.
Like your family name?
Not your name.
Oh, okay.
And that's when you finally die.
Interesting. So yeah, some people are immortal for that reason.
Some people are immortal, like
Jesus.
Jesus is immortal for the reason, I think, who else?
JFK.
Attila the Hun,
Genghis Khan,
Caesar,
Napoleon, George Washington,
King David, Cleopatra. There's a bunch of names that are gonna live there forever.
Yeah. Well, speaking of war and conflict, while we're on that topic, I'm of the belief that it's very strange timing that right when Netanyahu was visiting the US, lobbying for money, hanging out with Trump, hanging out with Musk, who were very friendly to him, Israel gets bombed by Hezbollah all the way from Yemen. So I was looking at it before. They had 4,000 rockets shot at them by Hamas, and their Iron Dome took out nearly all of them. It's over a 90% accuracy rate for their Iron Dome to be successful against attacks. So how is it that this missile from Hezbollah snuck through their Iron Dome and hit just this field where it killed 12 people, and now Netanyahu rushes back there and says like, "Oh, that's it. Like we're gonna go to war with Hezbollah now."
All right, I'm gonna get a heat for this,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw it the day before yesterday when we recorded the interview with Sheriff
Judd,
yeah,
yeah,
Judd,
Patriot.
yeah, Patriot. But he didn't believe that there was malice during the attack.
I know he's very innocent.
Like
Judd.
Sometimes he's been in the force for 52 years, and he has seen enough situations go terribly south enough to know that sometimes mistakes are made.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sometimes oversight, sometimes just someone being an idiot, sometimes lack of preparation and everything. It's very unlikely, like in my opinion, in my head,
Yeah,
as just as unlikely as Trump not dying that day.
yeah.
So, in my opinion, sometimes things happen, and we shouldn't be like feel almighty powerful that we control everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally tomorrow morning, you can wake up, jump in the shower, you slip in a weird way, and I'm gonna have to take your body out and call your mother. Like hopefully it doesn't happen, and knock on wood.
Yeah.
But you're one slip away from dying. You know? And it's just half a millisecond of the Iron Dome to not strike down one of the missiles. But the thing is that how tightly they keep information away from us.
Israel,
everyone,
mm.
we're constantly kept from information. We're constantly lied to. Things are turned around this way, that way. That we constantly live in fear that things are not the way they paint them to be.
Well, anytime they're withholding information, though, my senses go off of like, okay, something's up here, because in the times where they want us to think something, they have no problem just divulging a ton of information to us and like pushing a narrative. But when there's questions about something that's somewhat suspicious, they withhold things to the highest degree. So I feel like that's a pretty good indicator for when something's not right.
I know, but there's different levels to this. I think Adam brought it up that he's at a 32% approval rating.
Netanyahu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very low.
Mm-hmm.
Very low. Usually, what this
start a war. Yeah.
Presidents during wartime, they skyrocket, and he's at a 32%.
Or they could at least declare emergency powers or something because it's a war, so they can have an election.
What they did in Ukraine.
Yeah.
That they pushed election back.
Yep.
So, I mean, if we're gonna sit here and think we have it figured out, if we're gonna sit here like, oh yeah, it's just a globalist, putting this so they can make another war and make more money, it would be a fair assumption. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we don't understand the middle forces.
Middle forces?
Yeah.
Well, I consider Netanyahu as like a middle force because, there's Israel's a lot of power behind it. We know that. They have a really powerful lobby. I don't think Netanyahu is at the top of the power ranking when it comes to like Israel going in a certain direction. I think he's a middleman. And
that's why I brought Sheriff Jude up, because there's so many things that can go wrong. There's so many levels to this. Like you think Israel is one thing, but Israel has political parties from communist to super far right.
Yeah.
You have people that want to sing kumbaya and live together, and you have people that want to kill everyone,
right,
and everything in between.
Yeah.
Netanyahu, he lies right of like center right, slightly center right, and he had to get together with the far right people to make a coalition to work this out. So how do you know there's no middle forces there?
between him and the coalition.
between him and the coalition. The right side of the coalition was very mad at him in general for
Mhm.
his actions during the war. How do you know that doesn't play a part? The pro peace, everyone sing kumbaya faction has another idea of how things should go. Yeah, like a few thousand troops. Um, how do you know the guy that fixes the Iron Dome is not infiltrated?
Mhm.
You know, so
People
I
who think he's not doing enough too, probably.
that's the hard right part of Israel.
Yeah.
They think that he's not doing enough.
Mhm.
So even though when he comes here and he gets everyone clapping for him, we see Israel as a unit, but it's very fragmented on the inside. So I don't know enough about Israeli politics and their defense systems to go like, oh, they planned everything out.
Yeah. I just can't help but feel like we're getting pushed in a direction where the global powers, whoever they are pushing us towards war with Iran because they tried to throw Iran at the Trump thing, saying that it was a Iran assassination attempt. Now they're kind of stirring up a narrative about Israel, Iran stuff where Israel's giving money to Hezbollah, Hamas, and that they're able to attack Israel with that, but which wouldn't have been a problem if we didn't take sanctions off of Iran. But yeah, I can't help but feel like we're getting pushed in a direction to go to war with Iran.
I have the same feeling. It's not a feeling like people like Nikki Haley openly said it,
Well, it's just the media is acting like it. Like you could kind of get a sense for the direction the wind is blowing based on like what the media and politicians are saying.
and it's sad. No matter what kind of emotional and narrative building they do to me, like I'm against war.
Yeah.
I'm against dead children of all colors, sizes, origins. I think they're innocent. All children they're born innocent.
Yeah.
So anything that pushes towards war, I'm worried about.
Right.
I don't want more death and destruction for anyone.
No.
And as a general tendency, I don't know about this attack in particular. I read about it, but let's say you're the guy that is fixing or like restocking the Iron Dome,
Uh-huh.
okay? And you're talking to this girl, and she sends you like a saucy pic, and
Mm-hmm.
then you leave your wrench there and the missiles, and then you go FaceTime the chick, and you forget about filling up that slot on the missile thing.
I don't think it works like that. I think they have a shit ton of them. I mean, we're saying it's plausible, but
Yeah, but that two or three that were supposed to hit the thing, like, because the thing is, Brandon,
mm-hmm.
like I'm not naive,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
I know they're heading towards war, and I know that's what they want. They want to head towards war. The military industrial complex. They want to sell more missiles. They want to sell more guns. They want to send more young people out there to fight wars. Like I'm not naive to that,
Yeah.
but I also don't want to jump to conclusions.
Yeah.
Because I know how random things are sometimes and how they get out of hand. Like if Trump didn't tilt his head like a little bit, what
Mm-hmm.
was it, like 12 degrees to one side,
Yeah.
we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
No, it'd be probably somewhere much more animated.
Yeah, or we probably wouldn't even be here.
But like everybody would just be gone.
Yeah, everyone would be gone. Nobody is gonna be watching YouTube. But the sheriff said it. Okay, first mistake, nobody on the roof. Second mistake,
Mistake.
nobody under the water tower. No communications. The FBI came out today saying they didn't have a direct communication between teams.
But see, if they had a quick, easy answer for all of these things, that like, even if the answer made them sound stupid, I would be more inclined to believe them in a world where we have been lied to multiple times by these people. But the fact that like, if you had $1 for every time they said, I don't recall in these hearings the past 2 weeks, you'd have a couple grand.
Oh yeah,
Between the cops and the FBI and the Secret Service, every other answer is I don't recall. Like, yeah, you fucking recall. We mean you don't recall.
the three answers. I don't recall. we can't disclose that information,
Mm.
or everything is on the report that is gonna be handed to you 60 days from then.
I don't have that information at hand right now. Like, what do you mean you don't have that information at hand? We asked you if there's one shot or two shots.
I don't know. Things I can point out, it's like stupid behavior. Like if you're in charge of the Secret Service and shit goes out of hand, what would you do, Brandon?
What would I do?
What would you do if you were the head of this,
if I was trying to do everything to the best of my abilities and this happened?
Yeah. What's the first thing you do? Come on, it's obvious.
See what went wrong.
Yeah, you grab a plane. That's the first thing you do.
Mm-hmm.
You grab a plane and go there to the scene.
Yeah. And get like a timeline of what everybody's doing.
Ask everyone, climb on the roof, climb down from the roof, stand on stage, look at the sides, have everyone to interview. You know, like if you're the boss of the Secret Service, you will have every single person. Like I wouldn't even let the crowd leave.
Well, the thing, I mean, yeah, but they dismantled the entire crime scene and hosed it down, and it's pristine now. But that's not weird or anything. But I mean, being the director of the Secret Service is not a complex job. There's like probably under 20 people that you're giving security forces to. You know, like the remaining live presidents and their family members.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe a little bit over 20 if you're counting all family members. But you know, it's like Obama, his kids, Clinton's, their kid. Jimmy Carter's, he still gets Secret Service, maybe a tiny bit.
Man, he's not gonna go anywhere fast.
He has one person who's just outside the door.
Would someone attempt against Jimmy Carter?
I don't think so, but I think it's just like a protocol to have like somebody there for formality.
Like he's not for not doing anything.
There's probably somebody out there who hates him.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Like he's on my.
He screwed a lot of things up.
On my bad president list, he's definitely top 5.
Like he was a turning point to the New World Order, socialist infiltrating America type of stuff. Like he was the official turning point of socialism infiltrating the Democratic Party.
Yeah, and he gave us the Iran that we have now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of reasons, but he's not Biden.
I mean, he was until Biden came.
Yeah.
Like he was the laughing stock of all presidents until Biden came.
Yeah, he was the butt of the joke the whole time.
Yeah, with his stupid sweater vest thing.
But I don't know, Brandon. I think I saw the retaliation today. They sent some missiles to Beirut, the capital of Lebanon.
Yeah.
And this is looking real ugly. It's going the opposite direction as I would like to go. Like I want de-escalation, and this is going the opposite direction.
Yeah. So speaking of things that are getting out of hand and escalating, on a more positive note, Venezuela is actually looking like they might have a shot to dethrone the dictator Maduro. So I know you've been following this closely. It's hitting close to home. What do you think about this? Do they have a shot? I've been seeing videos of police stepping down, taking off their vests, military cheering them on, the SWAT teams, you know, like marching with the people. Is this all true or is it over exaggerated?
Like I can't go into specifics.
No.
But I've been to places that are going through this.
Yeah.
Whatever you see on the internet is the tip of the iceberg.
And
you shouldn't believe anything from that type of situation. You shouldn't believe anything that goes on the internet. Like crowds.
Yeah.
Okay, for political campaigns, you have the first 5 rows really packed, and you take the picture from the 6th row.
Yeah.
If you have a street protest, like if you're from one side, you're gonna look at the most violent acts, and that's what you're gonna put up.
Yeah.
If you want to make it look peaceful, you're gonna find the guy with the flag and the kid.
Right.
You know, so everything is happening at the same time, and at the same time, the curation of the moments that are happening, it's very doctored. Everything is very doctored. Like you can make a political statement by the way you take a picture.
Yeah, you're totally right, and I totally get that because I mean we've seen this happen in real time before, where they're you know, like taking pictures of somebody like looking somewhat violent, but it's like if you zoom out, it's totally out of context. But the thing is with this stuff that's giving me some shred of hope is that the real turning point, inflection point of these situations with revolutions is when the police and military, you know, have that pivotal moment where they're like, all right, you know, that there's enough people here. I'm tired of this shit. I'm in, you know, like we're not fighting for this guy anymore. So if that's starting to happen in like any degree of a trickle, like what percent of the military and police do you think you need to turn against the dictator to overthrow him? I think like it's like compounds. Like it's that you ever see that video where um somebody in the crowd like starts dancing, or it's like they get dared to start dancing or something, and basically like it's the second person doing it that creates like a whole domino effect. So it's like it's like the hardest to get one other person to do it after you start doing it, but then everybody starts doing it.
Yeah. This goes down the critical mass theory.
Mm-hmm.
Like different things have different critical masses. Like for example, a YouTube channel
Mm-hmm.
is your first 1,000 subscribers,
Yeah.
and then you get rolling.
Right.
But getting to 1,000,
It's
woo,
grind.
it's a
It
grind.
took me a whole month to do it.
Get the first 1,000 subscribers. You know,
Yeah.
it's a grind.
Yeah.
Now you will get 1,000 subscribers a week.
Yep.
You wouldn't even like on the channels I manage. Like if I get less than 100,000 or less than 50,000, I'm like, what's going on?
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And then every single event and every single pursuit has a different critical mass. I did see the video of the lady taking off her uniform. There's been more reports, but I don't know what. Like for example, in Chile, that we actually kicked communism's ass twice back
Nice.
to back. The people that were against this, it was probably like around 80% of the police and armed forces.
Damn.
It
So
was,
80% of the police were against the communists.
yeah.
Okay. And was it all at once, or was it like a accumulation of police being against it?
There was two things. They never, because the thing is, once your armed forces and police forces become political,
Mm-hmm.
of how things are structured in military forces and in police forces, once the heads become political, like is happening here.
Yeah.
Once the head becomes political, because they have to follow orders, they follow orders all the way down,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and the retaliation for not following orders is brutal.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's death.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's say you and I were in the revolutionary forces of Venezuela,
Right.
and we're both freedom fighters, and we'll go like, "Hey, Brandon, you know what? I don't want to shoot at my cousins in the street. How do you feel about shooting at your own family?" You're like, "No, fuck no, I'm not gonna do that." And I go like, "Okay, Brandon, let's fucking not do this and turn and flip."
Mm-hmm.
If we're in the ground level, if we're like, you know, low level police or low level military, they're gonna come for both of us.
Yeah.
And shoot us in the back.
Right.
That's what's gonna happen. So that's why they're so focused on the higher levels. So I won't be hopeful about this until we get generals and up to be part of this.
Yeah.
Because you need to have at least one regiment. You need to have at least one battalion for this to be meaningful. Because this is not politics, Brandon.
Right.
This is not dancing. It's not how infectious dancing or laughing is. This is life and death situation. We're talking about weapons.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about like actual force, actual violence. So if they have 300 guys with guns and you have 50 guys with guns, you're gonna get massacred.
Yeah.
So you can't sing victory until you have as many guys with guns on one side as you have the other side.
Well, once that happens, I think once it's 20%, it's over, because I think it's safe to say that 95% of the police and military forces in Venezuela or in a country like that, any miserable country, they don't like what's going on, but they're going with it because it's safe. And the top 5 to 10% who are the ones running things in the military are getting paid off. So, they have an incentive to keep that system in place.
Yeah. But the same people that are running the military, they're also part of government.
Yeah.
So they're intertwined. And you have basically 4 big forces. You have the police forces there, the armed forces, they're with the government. Then you have colectivos. We talked about this.
The crime stuff.
Yeah. Basically the state sponsors and gets out of jail free a bunch of like criminals that are called colectivos, that they're with the revolution. They give them a neighborhood in Caracas. You guys are gonna run drugs into your whole thing in this neighborhood. If the people get out of line, We'll let you do your business, but if the people get out of line, you guys need to come out and defend us.
Mm.
And then now you have a third force, and it's a first armed force that actually starting to fight against three other forces that they call them malandros.
Mm.
That is criminals that are not associated with any of these gangs, or different gangs that are not associated with the government.
Yeah.
So I think they're behind, like between a rock and a hard place in my mind. Right before we started the show, like a few hours ago, Maria Corina was a candidate that couldn't be a candidate. She needed to had she needed to have
A puppet.
a puppet or a stand-in that
Yeah.
she did it willingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a beast.
They offered her political asylum in Costa Rica.
Really?
The president of Costa Rica came out and offered her political asylum.
She's probably in danger of getting arrested or killed, right?
They actually already signed the order for her to be arrested.
Really?
And
Wow.
the president of Costa Rica recorded a video, and she was like, "Thanks, but not no thanks."
Karina?
I'm
Wow.
gonna stay here and fight until the end.
Nice.
I'm gonna stay with my people and fight until the end. Some of her people were at the Argentinian embassy because they were granted asylum at the embassy.
Yeah.
And news yesterday said that they even cut the electricity to the building.
Wow.
To make them come out.
So another part of this is I wonder if the forces of the shadow government, the international shadow government, are in favor of Maduro going away. Because if that's the case, then I think this could happen.
Probably yes, because they can't push their woke agenda hard enough, because he's still a middle-aged Latino guy, and he has all the beliefs that a middle-aged Latino guy. He's a Christian, not really, but he claims to be a Christian. He talks about God all the time.
Yeah.
He's not pro-Israel. He's not pro-America. He's not pro. He's pro-China. He's pro-Iran.
Yeah.
They have a lot of troop, a lot of money there. So as long as this guy is in the picture, they can't have full control. So we talked about this in the morning. Like, it's one of those rare cases with this demonic Satanist deviants from like the bigger levels of the New World Orders, when their interests aligns with actual human beings. I don't know. I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just more of like a oil thing, or just being able to control him thing. Because even though maybe I'm sure if we look deeply enough into this, there's forces at work to make this happen. I was even talking the other day with Danny about how I think that we might have helped Castro with the Cuban Revolution, because we're basically like, let's see, a good analogy is the show The Boys, where you have these superheroes who are like giving these like mutation things that gave them superpowers, right? And they're hired by defense contractors like the military industrial complex to go fight wars on our behalf, and they almost lose their contracts because there's not enough of a threat anymore. They've already like fucked up all the terrorists and wiped them out and stuff. So they take the medicine or whatever that gives them these superpowers and fly it over to freaking Iraq and create like Iraqi superheroes to create a new threat, so that the government still needs them. Yeah. So I wouldn't put it past the powers that be, or these forces, to create a threat when we're clearly the most dominant force in the world after World War II. We probably propped Russia up more than they deserved, just to make them look like a bigger threat than they actually were, to justify that spending. Then Cuba, let's put a communist country right next to us. Oh, that's a threat. We need to pump up a bunch of money into the military industrial complex to fight against that.
But that's the thing. Till this day, Venezuela and Cuba, except for the missile crisis, it was the Cuban missile crisis was in 1968.
No, it was during JFK, so 63, I think.
1962. Yeah, I think it was 1962.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't escalated them, even though they're right next to us, as a threat.
Yeah.
Like right now, they're burning half of Venezuela down. All the officials know this is the biggest deal in the history of an election.
Mm-hmm.
They're threatening to have the leading candidate arrested and probably killed.
Yeah.
And they haven't raised the alarms, or nobody said that if you don't do this, we're gonna get involved of something that is right next door. And most of the migration we're seeing now is from Venezuela. So, like last year, I think Venezuelan passed Mexicans for the first time.
Wow.
All right. So listen, like this is a real, actual today problem for America. And they're not getting involved. They're getting involved in a war in the middle of Europe. Most people can't point at Ukraine on a map, and they're getting involved with Israel in the middle of the Middle East. When you have something that is actually causing problem, fentanyl coming in, illegal immigrants coming in, people losing their jobs, this and that, and they don't scale that threat. So how does it make sense, Brandon? It does.
Well, the way that it sort of makes sense, so from what I've gained over the last few weeks, months, is that there's enormous power and wealth and incentive in the illegal drug trade. So, we think of it as cartels and gangs and whatnot that are running all these drugs, but it turns out that the richest, most powerful people in the world have gotten to that point from selling drugs in a massive way. And it turns out that the cartels or the gangs are kind of just front men or kind of puppets for these massive powers. So the British East India Company, the biggest, most powerful company the world's ever seen, probably was running heroin to China.
Yeah.
By the orders of the nobility in Europe.
And we're paying for it.
We were?
No, we're still paying for it.
Oh, because China's still pissed at us?
Yeah, and that's where they're pushing all these drugs here.
But I almost wonder if that still has this elite nobility connections, like the heroin stuff, because China's a big test bed experiment from the globalists. Like the globalists, China's like a science experiment for what a technocratic society is like. So China, whether they know it or not, they're puppets too.
They are puppets.
Yeah,
they're puppets because those ideas are not theirs.
Mm-mm.
And they live and die by those ideas, and those ideas have mutated. There's very little communism, like actual communism, left in China.
I mean, well, good, but think about like the impact that we've had on the development of China alone. So, like, we had a role in the Cultural Revolution. We had a role in the Xi being elected, and we've had a role in their development, their manufacturing, their involvement in the World Trade Organization. So we created this fast growing economy, and it's kind of like creating a Frankenstein thing. So they were obsessed with this idea of what a technocratic society would look like. So they Brzezinski and Kissinger, they made their deal with Mao Zedong, right?
Zedong.
Yes, they made that deal with them, like, hey, we'll let you build our stuff, we'll let you be in the world economy, but operate like this and that. And now here we are. Like, they do have a technocratic society, and that, like, they want to see what that would turn out like, to see if they could do it in America.
I'm gonna catch some heat for this too.
Oh boy.
But I don't think Kissinger's work is done yet.
Why?
Have you ever been on a Mustang?
In a Mustang, like a car? Yeah.
Have you ever sat in a Mustang?
Yeah.
All right.
Why Mustang out of everything?
Or a Corvette, or
fast car.
Yeah, fast American car.
Okay.
Big V8.
Yeah.
Red paint.
Mm-hmm.
When America exports cars, when they used to export cars, imagine a beautiful 1960s like American muscle car.
Okay.
Put that car in China. Give it to a government official. Take him around for a spin.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna have that car, and his kids are sat on that car, and they know what freedom means, because it's not just four wheels. It's not just a V8. It's a concept of like, I'm getting here. I'm sitting on this machine that can take me anywhere at any time at my will, really fast. So once you infect people with this,
with culture, you're saying infect people with culture.
When you infect people with culture, it takes many years. It takes a lot of years, and especially when you have an authoritarian government that is repressing the will of the people. But every Chinese tourist that goes out, the first place that they stop by is a Gucci store.
Yeah.
So once they know what's good, like you can't take it out.
No.
And it keeps corrupting society. And I think China is a time bomb.
Oh yeah, it's super time bomb. Like, I mean, all these socialist places are, and that's, I guess, the it's a double-edged sword because like whether it's the concept of capitalism, free market America, or like Christianity, like it's obviously more tolerant, which comes with more problems, people like pushing it too far and kind of fracturing things. But also when you repress people in places like Russia or Cuba or whatever, you stunt innovation and you like make it a regressive economy. So and they have to censor things like from entering the country. Like they try to censor culture from penetrating the country and
Yeah.
showing people what it's like out there. So because that's like people are spiritually defeated in those countries when generationally they've just been pounded by the governments. Like in Cuba, they probably have no hope of changing things, but until they see like what it's like in a different place, that's what makes them willing to get on a fucking door and like paddle to America.
See, it's infectious. It runs deep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a matter of time if they don't come up with other things. But to make that point, like our biggest ability as humans
Mm-hmm.
is the ability to lying to ourselves.
Oh yeah, because we don't like to be wrong.
We don't like to be wrong, and we keep on lying. It's like, yes, I'm a great communist, but
Mm-hmm.
I have a Corvette parked outside. I have
Mhm.
3 Rolexes.
Yeah.
in my watch safe.
Or even like limiting beliefs, like in the sense of like not being able to change the way that things are, which is probably the mindset of some Cubans, some Venezuelans. Probably not as much Venezuela because it's a closer memory of what it used to be like. But Cubans, it's been a few generations now.
Oh yeah, it's been almost 100 years.
Yeah.
Not 60. I don't know.
59, they got the revolution happened. So 41 plus 24 is like what,
70
7
years.
44 plus or 24 plus 41 65, yeah.
So that's too far gone. But at the same time, the people that are in power, maybe this whole communist revolution thing stopped making sense to them because it's so far removed.
Mm-hmm.
Most people are in power now. They don't even know how it started.
Yeah, they just ended up there.
So a lot of time passed is a good thing and it's a bad thing at the same time. Like there's still people in Venezuela that remember how things were before and they remember the reasons for the revolution. I don't know. I think the jury's still out. I think we're gonna do another show because the fog of war. We need the dust to settle, and I don't want to be wrong. I'm so hopeful. I think it'd be tremendous. It's a tremendous country with beautiful people, oil, gold. I think they'd be a tremendous ally to the United States, like an actual ally to the United States.
Yeah, and it'll be a powerhouse. It'll probably change the entire trajectory of South America. Like with Argentina now on the up and up, and if Venezuela is able to get on that page, and then maybe Bolsonaro comes back in a few years, South America could be in like a real powerhouse situation.
Oh, there's a different thing, nor here nor there. But
what, the trajectory of South America?
The worst thing about South America, and I'm a South American.
Yeah,
South Americans. And you can't change that.
Why?
It's a long story.
All right, part 2. Come back next time to hear why South Americans are terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are terrible.
Yeah, you're saying that about yourself.
Yeah, I'm saying that about myself, but we're amazing. That's also part 2.
Okay, fence sitting. All right, guys, missed you. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.